Well, that was not quite the entrance that we expected there. Good morning and welcome. This is the book launch livecast here at Ignite Press, and this is something that we do with our new authors as a way to help jumpstart their book. And it also is often, fortunately for me, that I get people during their first opportunity to really be interviewed about their new book. It is a joy. So today we have a couple special guests who I met, about a year ago at a wonderful retreat in just outside of Louisville, Kentucky. That was hosted by Kathy Fyock, who is a phenomenal book coach. And she brought a bunch of us together and invited me to speak at this retreat. And JoDee and Christine were two of the people at the there at the retreat, and they had already published numerous books and had another one in the works, and conversation started, and here we are today having the joy to launch their next book, and that is the JoyPowered Networking. And in fact, let me pull up this. So JoyPowered Networking, real life stories and advice for getting the best from your connections. And so today I'd like to go ahead and bring on JoDee Curtis and Christine Burrows. Hey there, how are you? Good morning.
Good morning.
Hey, good morning to you. Thanks for having us on.
Hey, love it, love it, love it. I have to tell you, you are the perfect people to write this book. Having had the opportunity to spend a few days with you both and other members of your team, JoyPowered is somehow appropriate. You guys never seem to go moping around or anything like that. You always have smiles on your faces, at least in the many times that we've met. And it's great to be with you guys today for your book. And how exciting for you guys. An Amazon bestseller launch is now underway officially, and your book is live out there on Amazon. I thought today would be a great time for people to get to know the two of you a little better and to know your book. So why don't we do this? JoDee, let's start with you. Okay. Tell us a bit first about you, and then we can go to, and then I'll go to Christine, and then we'll start talking about the book.
Yeah. All right. So, short story of my career. I spent 21 years in public accounting, both on the accounting side and the HR side. Some people tell me that means I have a left brain and a right brain, so that is good. Then started Purple Ink, an HR consulting firm, about 14 years ago. And what was highly suggested to me for many years that I should write a book. And I thought that was the last thing in the world I would ever do. I'm not a very focused person. I like to have my hands on lots of different things and always jumping around from one thing. And the thought of sitting down writing a book seemed impossible to me. But like every, I'm sure, good author or even speaker would tell you that once you find something that you're passionate about, you want to just share it with the world. And I had so many stories to share. So all of our books are called JoyPowered something, JoyPowered Workspaces, JoyPowered Family, Team, Organization, and now Networking. And it's not always about us. The books aren't about us telling you what to do or telling you how to network or build an organization or a team, but it's about helping people discover the joy in whatever it is they're doing. And Christine is networking 3.0, right? She's the best networker I've ever known. And we started talking about doing JoyPowered Networking, which is networking is something a lot of people aren't comfortable doing, or they don't know how to get started, or they don't know how to find a place where they can comfortably network. So we thought this was a great topic to help other people along the way and share some of the things and stories that we did along the way to build and continue to build our own networks.
All right. Now, thank you, JoDee. Now, Christine, tell us a bit about your background.
Sure. I am a high school history teacher, recovered, realized I really wasn't very good at that, and parlayed the enjoyment of standing in front of an audience into just the business landscape. Spent many years in the edutainment space, developing curriculum for the Discovery Channel and National Geographic, and then decided I could bring some of what I mastered in terms of writing a good sentence and connecting with people into the business space, and became a strategic marketer of sorts. And about, I don't know, 10 or 12 years ago, I met JoDee Curtis, and we kicked it off by getting to know each other on the kickball field out of our kids' high school. We took the courage of going onto the blacktop and becoming kickball partners one day. And after that, I decided she was someone I needed to know. And we eventually started having kind of a monthly lunch where we would talk about our own businesses and help each other with referrals and kind of the backside of running some boards that we were running. And about 3 years ago, we made it official and became business partners and launched Powered by Purple Ink, which is a national network of workforce consultants. And I continue to learn from JoDee every day. And this book is sort of a representation of all the things she and I have done together and separately to build our professional networks and create meaningful relationships. And we're really excited to share it.
Christine, I love it that you said not only do we love to network, but we build a network, right? So
yeah.
Well, and your book is among, your book has a lot of great information in it. But let's start with being strategic. The first chapter out of the gate is talking about being strategic with your networking. Can you share with people, either of you, how you think it'd be best to go about being strategic in networking?
JoDee, you want to go or you want me to?
You go ahead.
Sure. Well, I want to give props where props are due. JoDee and I definitely have a lot to share about networking, but we built the book a little bit by taking some other expertise and framing up some of our best practices. So Vern Schellinger is the owner of Context Count, and he has these 8 sort of proficiencies around what it is that you need to do to demonstrate and be good and effective at networking. So being strategic means, and that's the very first one, is like, don't just spray and pray. Being strategic means you have a game plan, that not all connections are equal, and that you want to find the most meaningful ones. And that actually requires a little bit of intentionality, a little bit of planning. And sometimes it means you get on a call, you meet somebody and you say, this was great, but I don't need to sustain this relationship. And then other times you really, you got to follow the breadcrumbs. You meet somebody and you realize how much potential lies there. And so you invest in it. So I think strategy is unique for each person. Like JoDee said, you want to find your own joy in this, but you also want to make sure that you aren't just haphazard about how you approach making connections.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. We have limited bandwidth, we have limited time, and it doesn't make sense to sit down to have lunch or a one-on-one meeting with everybody. Right. And knowing which ones, is a good start. On the other hand, right, you also have those people who surprise you. Those people who you go, and then they become, if not a great prospect for you, then may become a great referral source for you, right? Because you find out that they're a real connector, right? So you run into that as well. On the far end of being strategic, there's a story, and it's from a friend of a friend. There was a guy who wanted to meet with the CEOs of 3 companies. He created a list of 3 companies that he wanted to meet the CEOs with. So he wrote a book and published a book, and his target market was those 3 people. You talk about writing a book for a niche. And he wrote this for those 3 people to get himself in front of them, and he was successful with 2. He was able with the book to get meetings with 2 of those people.
Love
So that's strategic with a book anyway. So stop. You in your book you talk about stop waiting for JoyPowered Networking to happen. Stop waiting for it to happen. Is that what people do a lot? Do they rearrange their office, to make it perfect for everything, but just never get out the door to do any networking?
Yeah. So I
JoDee,
think,
ever see that?
yeah, all the time. And really, I have this greater theory that many people in general are waiting for things to happen to them, right? That their Dr. Seuss says we're waiting for the rain to rain and the snow to snow, and a whole book full of other things that we're waiting for. And I think a lot of times we say, well, I'm waiting for my boss to ask me. I'm waiting for until I get married. I'm waiting till I have a baby. I'm waiting. And when people, it's sort of like saying, you should have a relationship with your banker before you need a loan, right? You don't want to go to the bank when you're all out of money.
I've heard that's a good idea.
Yeah. People sometimes wait to build a network until they need their network. And, an easy example of that is finding a new position, right? They work with the people around them every day, and those become their friends, and they don't, and their social circles, and they're not looking outside of that group. Then all of a sudden they lose their position, their plant closes, whatever might happen, and they realize, I have not spent time building a network that can now help me to find a new job, to build a business, to sell my product, whatever it might be that they're doing. So we can be building a network at all times in our life. As a matter of fact, one of my favorite things about this book, as I reread the book after it was all finished, was thinking about so many people I had met in my life throughout my career who have impacted our Purple Ink business that I never dreamed would have happened when I met them at my kids' soccer game or at elementary school or whatever that might be, right? That's building your network along the way so you have one when you most need one.
Yeah, I appreciate what you're saying. There was a time, and it's kind of funny. A good friend of mine introduced me to send out cards. Okay, which for those people who are unfamiliar with send out cards, it's a multi-level marketed product. And I wouldn't have been interested in anything that was MLM, like Amway-ish kind of thing, ever, except that I saw the business use of it. And I saw the business use of it for networking. And so the irony being is, to build it, I found myself doing really good networking to therefore share this great networking tool. And that's when you find that some of your best networking is at the soccer field. It is, hanging out with your kids or the parents of the parents of the other kids while your kids are doing something else, or,
Right.
And it can be anywhere. And the funny thing is now that we do book publishing, not everybody is my prospect, right? Not everybody is appropriate for my network. And but now, because I haven't done that kind of networking in so long, I go someplace to a restaurant and I don't know a soul. When I used to go into a restaurant and I would know 4 or 5 people there. So that's the other part about networking, right? Is that you can't, I mean, you can't rest on your laurels either, right? The networking you did 10 years ago can grow stale. It can be valuable, but it can grow stale as well, right?
Everett, that makes me think too about just how networking has changed since we've gone to a lot of virtual relationships. So it's not walking into a restaurant necessarily, because that's a local feel that we have. And we enjoy a national network, JoDee and I do, of people that we know, and some of whom we've actually never met in person. So now the familiarity is being able to hop onto LinkedIn, for instance, and see that I've been tagged by somebody that I've never met, but who just says, oh, I really like Christine Burrows' content. Now all of a sudden you're known for what you think, and you're known for, your connections, you're known for, and I think that actually is a familiarity that is part of the new age of networking that we're all looking for.
Right.
Really excellent. It has changed, and now, right, you can attend online networking groups from your home or your home office without stepping out the door. I think of the relationships I've established with people just through those types of meetings. I think I'm meeting with someone today who I met for the first time. I don't know where she lives. I don't know anything about her background. I don't know any of that. But a few hours from now, it will. And that was not something that we were doing before Zoom. We had the technology, just no one was doing it that way,
Right.
JoDee tells the story in the book too, just about virtual events like this, where you're really not even knowing the other people attending, but you can see their comments, or you get their LinkedIn profile and you can go to it. And sometimes just by looking at their profile or reading a comment that they've had, it triggers something in your brain that you think you need to meet them off of this, and you follow that path. And that's that breadcrumb of looking to see if that person is somebody that you can either bring value to, or they can bring value to you. So there's that mutuality piece of it, which is a big part of our book.
Mm-hmm.
Really an excellent point, because it kind of allows you to cherry pick from the best prospects or the best potential network in the group. And I think of that compared to like a leads group meeting or a live network meeting, or reception or whatever, where you're like, okay, I'm going to work my way around the room so I can meet people. And you're like, okay, I want to meet as many people as I can so I can find one or two good connections would be a success, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you spend all that time. Whereas on the Zoom, you almost can do it just off the chat roll. That's really great advice.
Yeah.
Let me go ahead and bring this up, because I want to let everyone know that the JoyPowered Networking is available today on Amazon. You can actually pick up the Kindle version for 99 cents. It's on a special launch price. The paperback is available as well. And by the way, if you don't traditionally read Kindle, that you may or may not be aware, but there is a Kindle app on every smartphone. There is a Kindle app on every tablet, and even Kindle readers available for PCs and Mac. So trust me, you have probably 2 or 3 devices upon which you can read Kindle if you want to take advantage of that 99 cents. But definitely grab this today. And I will tell you, this is a fantastic gift book for you if you know other people who value or need to value networking. Fantastic gift. This is something they will thank you for. So if you want to put this in the company business stocking or something like that, a really great opportunity for you. Okay.
Everett, when you said that, I wanted to just add, when I was sending out like, hey, I'm writing this book, you might want to read it. I thought of all these young people I know who are just stepping into the professional world and want to do this right. JoDee tells the stories about people that she met so long ago who have become either clients or gone to work for her, or that she's been able to do things for. And so building that network from a young age is really great. And so it's a gift for them, but it's also amazing to me. And JoDee and I've met folks like this when we're speaking who have said, I've been so afraid to network, and you've given me some inspiration or some tactics to use. So even the fearful person is a good person to think about.
Right.
Really, it's excellent, because first, depending on how young and inexperienced you are, you may not understand why you need to be networking. And then when you do learn you should be networking, how should I be networking? And then now I know how I should be networking, but I'm terrified, right?
Yeah.
I'm terrified. Or especially right for the introvert who does not, for whom this doesn't happen easily. I was very fortunate. I had a great mentor with this. He used an acronym that helped me, and it was FORM, and you probably have heard that, which is just talk about these 4 topics with people. It was family, occupation, recreation, and then the last one was either money or it was message. And that was my little cheat sheet, and that totally equipped me for doing something I never did before. And brought me on my show, basically, for that.
Everett,
Now,
you should have told us that earlier. We could have quoted you in the book with us. Yeah. But even easier than talking about those 4 things is asking someone else about those 4 things. I think so many people are feared networking because they don't know how to start the conversation or what they should be talking about. But it can be so much easier to just have 3 or 4 good questions, and they could tie directly to your 4 things, and just ask people. People love to talk about themselves usually. So start with them.
yeah, that's excellent. What would you say are people's greatest challenges when it comes to networking? What are some of the things that you feel like really get in the way?
Well, I think one thing is that they've had a bad experience. They went to an event, they didn't know anyone there, they left an hour later and they still didn't know anyone there. Or maybe they met 2 people that were not 2 people that they were wanting to continue the conversation with. And there are just so many different ways to network. I mean, we talked about doing it via social media or on LinkedIn, but you can also do it through your kids' activities, right? You can also even internally network. Now, I mentioned earlier about people who only have internally networked, but look for people to meet within your own organization to grow your own knowledge and experiences, or find out about different projects or opportunities within your company. So many different ways you can go about it that aren't going to work for some people and aren't going to work for all of us at a certain time in our lives or careers, right? I don't have young kids now to go to soccer games and meet people at. So that's not my networking style right now.
Yeah, isn't that interesting how your pool of options change over
Right.
time?
Yeah.
With as you and your families go through different stages.
Right.
How do you stay joy powered in your network?
That's JoDee's that's JoDee's term, but I'll just start by saying it's infused throughout the Purple Ink culture, and that we all believe that it's not just being happy by all means. Like, we're actually allowed to be unhappy on a given day and frustrated, but joy powered is about kind of finding being deliberate about wanting to bring joy to your work, bringing joy to your networking, giving your best in that moment. And what comes back out of it is joy. I'd let JoDee say more. She actually is like the joy powered queen.
Well, I'll just say that we each find joy in our own way, right? Christine and I do find joy in networking in a variety of different ways, but that doesn't have to be the same approach that other people take to network and or to discover their own joy, right? Some people find joy in wrapping up in a blanket and watching Netflix, which sounds good to me at sometimes too. But discovering and naming where do I find joy in my life, and how can I do it more often? Right? How can I name those times, and how can I repeat the process? It's really that simple.
Excellent. Now, I would like to make sure that people know how to find you. So if people would like to reach out to you for speaking or the other services that your company offers, what's the best way for them to reach out?
Well, the easiest place is probably to start at our company website, which is purple, INKLLC.com. So purple ink with a K, LLC.com. And Christine and I and all of our team members, our bios are out there. And you can click on those and see our email and phone numbers. LinkedIn is also a great place to find us. Look for us out there. JoDee Curtis with the C and Christine with the C Burrows, and we'd love to connect. We love growing our networks, of course, but specifically on LinkedIn.
And Everett, you mentioned speaking. JoDee and I love to speak also. We really enjoy the energy of an audience. And it's not just what we enjoy doing, but afterwards, we've had so many people come up to us and want to make meaningful connections with us, or have us, share some of our approaches to growing our networks with them personally. So, we love to do that and would happily bring JoyPowered Networking.
High quality network.
Yeah. Everett, I think you have a good picture of Christine and I after a speaking event that we did that you might pull up if you have it easily.
You know what?
Or maybe
I do not have it right now, but I can get it handy.
That's okay.
While you guys tell us more about Purple Ink and what you guys do.
Yeah. So Purple Ink is a full service HR consulting firm. I think it's easier to say what we don't do than all of the things that we do. We don't do payroll, which is sometimes viewed as an HR task, and we don't sell health insurance, but otherwise we do wide variety of different types of consulting, recruiting, outplacement, career coaching, training, learning, development. Our consulting can include coaching or compensation, performance management, you name it. We work with clients who are very small and might have under 50 people. And we have some clients that have 10,000 employees. But our sweet spot is really that middle market area where a team has an HR director. They might have a full scope of people on their team, and they're looking for either an expertise in HR or maybe just what I call some hands on deck, right? They know what needs to be done, but they don't have the bandwidth to do it internally.
Well, I did find a couple of these pictures. And, I love these. I'm going to go ahead and show them quickly.
Yeah.
You guys look like, I'm just going to say, you guys look like you have a lot of fun speaking.
We do. And we're looking forward to doing more of that now that we'll have the book in hand and be able to sell the book and sign copies of the book too.
Excellent. Well, we're coming up here on our 30-minute stop, so I need to say goodbye to you both. Thank you so much for coming. Everybody go out and get your copy of JoyPowered Networking and make sure to get that for others. So thank you again for joining us on this live cast. We look forward to seeing you on the next one. And take care. God bless.